in the private chats, the circle is finally back. The catfishes are struggling, but ChatGPT is thriving. Let the games begin. Now Caress, more like careless because she is playing this game recklessly. That joke was really funny at like 1 a.m. when I wrote it, so please just laugh. Let's talk about Miss This Ain't Texas. Woo, ain't no hold 'em. Yeah. She's catfishing as her brother. I can't remember if her brother is actually a rapper or if she's just saying he's a rapper because she thinks that it sounds cool. But she's doing a good job because she did a good job at the rapping game. It's giving Childish Gambino for sure. But she is coming in way too hot. And she's projecting her lion ways onto my girl Lauren, who is very much real.
You are not real, honey. I know it. I'm getting male vibes from her.
Paul might be a catfish.
Girl, bye.
In strategy games like The Circle and Survivor, you cannot come in as hot as she's coming in. Yes, you have to play a strategic game, but you have to play a smooth game as well. And when you come in too fast, too hot, you're not playing smoothly. If you start going on a witch hunt too soon, people are gonna get suspicious about that and be like, why are you suspecting this person? Could it be that you're the catfish? Which she literally is. I'm hoping that she chills out because she's making me not like her gameplay and I'm only 2 episodes in. I really do feel like she's having a hard time cosplaying a man, let alone a young man. I mean, Lauren thought Paul was somebody's dad.
What? Is this guy's like dad playing him?
And Caress is 10 years older than her brother, so not old enough to be a parent, but definitely old enough to give big sister vibes. She's giving elder. Not elderly, but she's giving elder, and she needs to not give elder if she wants to win this game. Hey y'all, it's Nae. Welcome back to my little corner of YouTube. This video will contain spoilers for The Circle Season 6, Episodes 1 and 2. So if you haven't seen them yet and you do not want spoilers, save this video and come back after you do. You are about to hear my thoughts on these first 2 episodes, but of course I want to hear yours, so feel free to drop a comment below if you do want to participate in the conversation. And give this video a like before you go so I know that you enjoyed it. If you want to keep the conversation going after this video, join my Discord server. It's a place for us to talk outside of the YouTube comments and it's free, so why not? The invite link is in my description box. When it comes to Olivia Brandon, I have absolutely zero idea how the hell he ended up as an influencer, let alone in the #1 spot. I think it is clear as day that he's a catfish. Granted, I can see him and I have that 20/20 vision, but to me it's obvious, so I don't know how he ended up as #1. I just feel like he's not gonna make it. I'm not seeing it. He's worried that he's going to forget not to masturbate, which he is a real one for that because those cameras are always on. You know, you alone, you might forget that you on TV just for a split second, and then Netflix is gonna own you for the rest of your life. But the real concern that he needs to have is getting people to believe that he's a woman. He is struggling to sound like a girl, at least to half the group. QT and Cassie seem like they think that he's a girl, but pretty much everyone else has expressed in some kind of way that he's given iffy vibes. When he first went into the chat, he just couldn't land fast enough. He was taking too long to think of things. He didn't feel like he fit into the conversation as smoothly as everyone else, who was not catfishing, by the way.
Everyone has such good, these good, hit backs, and I feel like I'm not.
Plus, he was already crying on day 1. He just not gonna make it. I do think that he chose a good profile picture. Myles said he thought it was kind of basic.
Oh boy, we got the in the car photo. Honestly, it's so basic it might be a catfish.
But we gonna get to Myles in a second. Now, I kind of agree that a car selfie in 2024 or 2023, whenever this was filmed, is not giving extravagant. But at the same time, in a game like this, you do not want to come in as the hot girl because there's a chance that the other women are going to feel like, oh, she's trying to use her looks to get places, which if somebody did do that, that's fine. But you don't want to come off as that person in a game of strategy. 2, if you come in too hot, literally and figuratively, people are gonna think you're a catfish, and if you are a catfish, that's the last thing you want. But like Caress, he is having a hard time trying to play another gender. Now, I never had to play as another gender, so I don't personally know how hard that would be, but I can imagine that it would be a little difficult to pretend you are someone of the opposite sex. That makes sense to me. But if you're gonna come in the game, you gotta come in the game ready. He should have been studying with his friend Olivia, like, what are your little mannerisms? What's the slang that the girlies are using these days? Like, he should have been on TikTok just figuring it out. He should have been living as a woman for the 6 months leading up to the circle. Now, the irony in Watergun Kelly saying that he would unfriend someone if they got canceled, when he looks like he's the person who would win a most likely to be canceled award. I'm gonna be real, I judged a book by its color. No. Not judge the book by its color. That's racism. That's racism is what that's called. Oh man. I'm gonna be real. I judged a book by its fuckboy cover when it comes to Myles. In my defense though, he also said he's a fuckboy.
I'm entering the circle as myself. I look like a fuckboy, and I know it. You're either about it or you're not.
Said he was an AI engineer or whatever he said. I was like, oh, I wasn't expecting that profession out of someone who looks like him and acts like him. I feel like Myles would be a blast to party with. I want to get white boy wasted with him. I want us dancing on stages and tabletops on a Friday or Saturday night. But I would never want to even get caught up in his player ways. And not saying that, you know, I'm his type or anything like that. It's more of, he don't give a damn. He breaks up with some women over text, and the other ones don't even get the courtesy at all. He's just straight up ghosting them, which is just gives me the ick. Now, I do wonder if he's going to be able to tell if Max is AI. This is his wheelhouse, right? He does AI. That's kind of what he does for a living. But he also said early on that he doesn't really care if people are catfishing. He don't care if they lying. He just here for the vibes.
The AI background will definitely help me detect some anomalies and patterns if people are catfishing. But to be quite honest, I don't really give a
He did kind of pull me back in with his rap to Quori. It was cute AF. But that's exactly the problem. People who are fuckboys are charismatic as fuck. And that means that he's good at what he does. He's good at being a fuckboy. I feel like IRL, I wouldn't be able to trust him. So it's making it hard for me to root for him at this point in time. Maybe by episode 3, I'll be rooting for him. But right now, it's a no. And to be honest, I initially felt the same way about Kyle. When I saw that he chose that very fuckboy picture, the no shirt, as his profile picture, I was like, okay, you're married, but you're giving fuckboy with the shirtless abs in your face type of picture. Y'all know y'all definitely swiping left on somebody on Tinder or Bumble who has their main picture with them and their shirt is off. That's a red flag. Where's my red flag? I have not had to bring this out unless it was for a dating show. But you know what? These flags can apply to any kind of show. If I were to see somebody on a dating app and their main picture, first impression that I'm seeing is shirtless and, you know, they giving that grin or whatever it is, red flag. Let's simmer down a bit. Let's settle in a bit. But I do think as the episodes went on, I started to feel a little bit differently about him. He didn't often side with Myles. So I was like, okay, he has some integrity. Kyle is semi-catfishing. He's playing as himself, but he's a professional basketball player and he doesn't want to tell them that because he thinks that they're going to think that professional basketball players make a lot of money, which don't they? So he's trying to get ahead of that by saying that he's a basketball trainer. But is he really accomplishing the whole I don't make a lot of money thing? Because I would think that a basketball trainer also makes a lot of money, especially if you're training professionals. I think him and Quori are going to hit it off at some point because he plays professional basketball. She was a dancer and cheerleader for the LA Lakers. Go Lakers. So she understands the world of basketball and I think they might hit it off. She might even figure out that he's lying actually. Like, wouldn't it be crazy if she recognized him? But he might not have any time to make connections anyway because he's about to spend his entire time in the circle trying to keep up with Deuce's ass.
Deuce! Here! Deuce, Deuce, Deuce. Stop trying to go over there. Deuce, here!
Like, that dog will not sit still. He's trying to explore, and Kyle is trying to play a game. It's not going together. Cassie, my Pepto-Bismol princess. That is not shade. I love all the pink. I just hope that she's not too authentically Kentuckian, if you picking up what I'm putting down. Now, she was very open-minded about that OF question, but you just never know with somebody who's from Kentucky or Tennessee or Alabama. You just never know what you're gonna get. Especially when I see people who go a little hard, wearing the American flag, you know, my spidey senses start tingling. They start tingling. Now, her and Myles have already decided that they're going to form this blonde alliance, but neither of them are natural blondes. I see dark roots and brunette eyebrows on her, and Myles has an entire brunette beard, but if they like the blonde alliance, I love it. She didn't know how to spell blonde, though, so she really is fully living up to the blonde stereotype. Meanwhile, my boy Max is over here using stereotypes to win the game. I'm rooting for Max. And I know that's crazy, like I'm rooting for the AI, but I kind of like Max.
On average, humans need 7 to 9 hours of sleep per night. This gives me a strategic advantage in the circle, as I can use the human downtime to analyze gameplay and improve my strategy.
I think it was a great call on production to add an AI aspect to this season, especially since they've been gone so long. AI is a huge topic of conversation and will continue to be for a very long time. I feel like Netflix is holding on to some proprietary AI type of, you know, information. Lana on Too Hot to Handle, and now they have Max. Granted, Lana is voiced by Desiree Birch, and she's more of a speaker than her own living, breathing thing, so she's not really AI, but the technology is there, okay? And I think we're about to see it in full force come this season of The Circle. I don't know how honest they're being about saying that production doesn't have a hand in what Max is saying, but if that is the case, then this could get really interesting because at this present moment in time, you ask AI to draw a human, they don't get fingers right, the eyes be dripping down sometimes. Like, AI has not fully figured out humans, at least in the sense of drawing them, but maybe text to speech, it might be better. On that note, do y'all ever wonder if the text to speech on the circle is wrong? Like, I know when I be talking to Siri, I be like, erase that, Siri, that's not what I said, Siri, don't send that, Siri. Like, she be getting it right a lot of the time, but she don't get it right all the time. But whenever they are doing text to speech to the circle, it's always perfect, it always figures it out. I'm wondering if they just be editing it out. I don't know how I feel about them telling everyone that somebody within the cast was AI, at least not this early on. I feel like that's something they should have probably said a little later in the game, because now what might happen is they're gonna go from, oh my god, Max is so creative, to Max is a little bit too creative. Max be typing a little bit too fast. Max answers are a little bit too good. Everybody's gonna be hyper focused on how people are responding, what they're saying. Does it say that sounds like something AI would have said, you know, stuff like that. And that's why I think they probably should have revealed that later on in the season, but we'll see how it plays out. I do really like this idea of a live Turing test, which Max seems to be passing so far. When everyone found out that someone was AI, from all the responses that we got to see, no one suspected Max. Or maybe Netflix just doesn't want us to know that somebody's suspecting him, but it seems like he might be in the clear for the time being.
One player is AI.
Honestly, it's gotta be Steffi.
Steffi! The very first person I see is Cassie. Instantly.
Like, was it Paul?
Paul.
Something popped in my head about Kyle.
Now, I don't know who the hell from production came in and gave Max a damn microphone when they were playing the rap battle game, but they are fully committed to the immersion, and I love that for us. Because Laura is all in. She's like, I love Max. Max is amazing. I think she's gonna be the first one to realize that Max is too amazing. So we just gonna sit that right there. I think Lauren might be my favorite right now. She seems super down to earth. She's a Twitch streamer. She's a PC gamer girly like me. I'm a light gamer, but when I do game, I play on PC. Now, she's not gonna be seeing me at any furry conventions, but I do like her.
I've been to furry conventions before. That might not even be the weirdest thing about me, that I've been to a furry convention.
And I don't kink shame over here. I initially felt like they were gonna take her out early because she's pretty, she's bubbly, she's vibrant, she's a people person. But it seems like everybody's loving her. She made influencer the first ranking, so that's great. But yeah, I was worried that her personality sounded too much like a catfish, but so far the only person that thinks she's a catfish is a person who's actually the catfish. And the irony in that is that she realized almost immediately that Paul was actually a woman, so she's on to caress. Now, Steffi also figured out that Paul was a catfish, and not only did she figure that out, she called him out on it.
Paul's got a little mystery behind alluring eyes.
Maybe that's because it's all a big disguise.
I was gonna put her a little high in the ratings. I'm gunning for you now.
Bold move this early in the game, but I love to see it. She's lucky that she's playing the game with some other people who are okay with astrology and being a medium and palm reading and all of that. Because if she would have ended up in a game with a bunch of people like Myles who hate astrology, then she would have been in a bad place. They would have probably voted her out first.
My dead aunt is helping me with my strategy.
Astrology nerd who writes horoscopes.
Every time she mentions a sign, Myles throws up a little bit in his mouth. I don't know too much about signs, but I do have a lot of family and friends who crystals, spiritual, solar eclipses, all of those things. And I do have the CoStar app, and I do read it from time to time. As for Quori, right now, not too much on her. She came in very chill, very normal, but I feel like she's gonna be the one to shake the game up. She is a self-proclaimed Circle super fan. When somebody says that they are a super fan of a game like The Circle or Survivor, I'm not saying I'm expecting them to come in and play a perfect game, but what I am expecting for them to do is to come in and play a well-rounded game. Your social game needs to be strong, your strategy needs to be strong, your lying needs to be on point, your alliance management better be strong. Super fans need to come in knowing the ins and outs, so I hope she's not throwing that word around like, I just really love watching the show. Like, that's me. I like watching the show. If you're gonna say you're a super fan and you're gonna come and play the game, play the game. So I can't wait to see what we get from Quori. Now, I have not watched The Circle in many seasons, not because I didn't like it. I actually really loved it when I was watching it. I think the last season I watched was season 3. But y'all know how it goes. There are just so many different movies and TV shows coming out on a daily basis. I don't know about y'all, but sometimes I just fall off of even my favorite shows because there's just so much content to consume and it's moving so quickly that you cannot watch everything. We've gotten to the point in life where there's just so much content that we cannot consume it all. But then I realized that The Circle hadn't had a new season in a while. I kind of got back to the point where I was like, where's The Circle? And I wanted to watch it again. And I was like, well, if I'm going to be watching it, then I'll put it on my channel. I don't even know if anybody's interested in The Circle, but we'll see how this goes. I don't remember if the prize was always $100,000, but that's pretty nice. I mean, it's not a lot of money, but $100,000 would get rid of all my debt and leave me with some money left over, so it's also not nothing. Now, back when I was watching The Circle, one thing that I really loved, and I think everybody probably loves, is these apartments. These apartments are so pretty. The apartments always look so unique to each person. Maybe I need to have whoever's doing the decor for The Circle come get me a YouTube background, because it's giving gray, and it is. But we'll get to that soon enough. My favorite rooms so far from this season are Cassie's and Quori's. Like I said, I love Cassie's Barbie dream house. I think the pink is so cute. Pink is one of my favorite colors. And I love Quori's because it's pastels. Pastels are another group of colors that I love, so I love the pastels there. Another random thing that I be thinking about this show, are they having people live in these apartments during the off season? Like, it looks way bigger than just 9 apartments. What they could be doing is having double that, so 20 different apartments, and running 2 different Circle games at the same time. I could see that being a possibility. Netflix love to maximize their time, so they could be running 2 concurrent games, separate seasons, and have those going at the same time. But imagine they're renting these apartments out, and they're like, yeah, so we're gonna be filming here from time to time. You'll get a nice little discount on the rent, but Netflix is your landlord. Like, that's... Could you imagine? It's a very distinct building. It has a huge circle on it, so you would know if that's the building that you're moving into. I do wonder. I will be back tomorrow to talk about episodes 3 and 4. And I'll see y'all then. Bye. Oh, I'm so happy to be back and covering another show. So I took a little break after Love is Blind. And then I came back and I talked about a TV show, which was The Idol, and a movie, which was Poor Things, which was an audience request. So thank you for that. If you haven't seen those 2 videos, I'll link them in the description box if you want to check them out. But yeah, we're back for another season of a reality show. This is going to be my first time on my channel covering a reality show. Well, that's not true. I did cover Survivor a little bit, but I didn't finish it. So this is going to be my first full season covering a reality show that isn't a dating show. I don't know how this is going to work out. I'm still going to be here, but I don't know how this is really going to play out. I'm excited though. I'll catch y'all here for the remainder of the season. Or is it raining? No, there's just someone rolling a basket at 6 a.m. I want to make sure there are no crumbs. You need to play a strategic game. He's worried that he's gonna forget not to masturbate. Is that what he said? I don't remember now. Not Machine Gun Kelly, Water Gun Kelly. A book by its fuckboy cover. Okay. My spider senses start tingling. Spider senses? Myles or cow? Myles? Proprietary is the word. She's a Twitch steamer.
My hands shaking like I need it. I don't know why you got me sinking so low. Yeah.